What is going on, good people? Now, while I am not as active or avid a video game collector as I once was, I do still like to keep myself current on what the values are on the games that I do own. So, you can imagine my surprise when not too long ago I saw that the prices on one game, in particular, Recore, the Definitive Edition, had really blown up, and the eBay sold listings, as you can see here, were showing anywhere from like 85 up to 115, and I believe the 115 was a brand new copy. But still, the only ones that you could really get for less than that were like the PAL or the Peggy copies, and I was blown away. But I do remember some years ago, this was 3 or 4 years ago, a good friend of mine, Asian Sleepy, who has an amazing YouTube channel, and I'll provide a link for that in the description. You definitely want to go check him out. He's very smart, very chill, very entertaining in his videos. I think you'll like him. But he had made a series of videos, and he may still be making them. Usually he just kind of focuses on his weekly playlist these days, but he made a video where he was talking about games that, kind of could become scarce in the future that you might want to keep an eye on, and Recore Definitive Edition was one of them. So from that point forward, every time I would go into a game store, if I happened to be browsing the Xbox games, I would always keep an eye out for it. I never really expected to find a copy. So one day I did step into one of the local game exchanges, one of the ones over near the university in Little Rock, and of course they had it. I was shocked that they had it, and not only they had it, but they had it for $2.99, which was the same price they had put on the standard edition. And I was like, well, for $3, I mean, sure, why not? And I picked it up, and yeah, I haven't regretted it. But what I got to thinking recently is like, what is it about this game? Because it really, when it came out, it wasn't terribly well received. It wasn't like crapped on. It's just very mixed reviews. So I was thinking, what on earth kind of caused this price spike? Because it's something I've always said is true about games. Just because a game is expensive doesn't mean it's good, and just because a game's cheap doesn't mean that it isn't. So what's the deal with this game? As I got to looking into it, to start off with, it did have a very limited physical release. Unlike the standard Recore, the Definitive Edition was limited because it was mainly designed as a DLC add-on for the existing games, so not a lot of them were printed. Because the game was an Xbox exclusive, it did not enjoy widespread distribution across multiple platforms. Then you couple that with the fact that it was on Game Pass, which means that the people that wanted to play it could just do so there, which meant that even fewer physical copies were sold, and of those, even fewer still were of the Definitive Edition. Then you add to the fact that niche collecting and sealed game collecting has kind of become its own thing in the game collecting hobby. What few copies there are got snapped up. So I mean, basically the game has it's fallen prey to the powers of supply and demand. There's more demand than there is supply, and the prices are going up. But it never ceases to surprise and amuse me how some games can kind of just sit idle for years and years and not really have much of a bump in value. Then one day some enterprising collector figures out that, hey, this was a pretty low print run game, and before you know it, it just takes off. It's really wild. But anyway, I'm glad that I got my copy when I did. And if I were you, I would go ahead and just kind of keep an eye out for it if you happen to be out hunting. But anyway, y'all take it easy, and I will catch you on the next one.